I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of Polk Place. I'm Brian Lacey, and if you're a friend or fan of the state of Florida, we all know that June 1st to November 30th is hurricane season. Now, I don't mean that college down South Miami. I'm talking about those storms that roll through. Yeah, we're all very familiar with them. But anyways, going to talk special needs shelters and everything that you need to know about it. And joining me in studio is Jana Nickles, Special Needs Program Coordinator with Polk County Emergency Management. Welcome to the show, Jana.
Good morning.
And also is Brian Thurston, Polk County Emergency Management Program Manager with Polk County Emergency Management. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I think this is what, our second, third year of doing this?
Yes.
Something like that? You guys, a while back, were new to the game. Now you're chiseled veterans.
Yeah. We'll see.
I'm going to say, knock on wood, somewhere there's wood. Last year, didn't get to see you, and please don't take it offensively, but no. I'm glad when I don't get to see you.
Yes.
And I'm good with seeing you over here. Yeah. But talk to me a little bit about what Polk County Emergency Management does as a bit of an overview. Give me the Paul Womble.
No, I can never stand up to those standards.
But talk a little bit about what you guys do during hurricane season.
Right, well, let's start before hurricane season. We start with the training for the special needs shelters. We just finished training 508 staff from DOH and the BOCC. We had the training for the special needs, just going over about the shelters, what activation is, what demobilization is. Then we went on to, we had Peace River there who helped people learn how to do stress management. And we had we had DOH there for body mechanics. Mm-hmm. And then we did a little film about food safety, because this year our Bartow shelter will be warming food for our residents instead of having it catered.
Jana, talk a little bit about the importance of preparing. You know, I love the analogy that Paul makes that, you know, when you're in decision making, the best time to create and harvest those relationships is long before the event, because when the event comes and you don't know the players of the game, it tends to be difficult. So talk about the importance of training and doing things like this early in the season.
Well, for training, we want people to walk through their shelters, the staff to walk through the shelters to know where everything is, where everything can be set up, and we haven't done that this year, but we are scheduling for Tenor Rock, because none of our staff has been out to Tenor Rock to walk through that shelter, the high school there. And so it's important to know where you're going, what to expect, what's going to happen when you arrive at that shelter. And you need to know what's going to happen, where to go, who to see, who to talk to, making sure you have your place when you're assigned. So if you're, registration or a shelter attendant, or if you're in logistics, it's always important to know where your role is so you know where to go. And all the training we do tries to help direct people in that area.
And I think something that's important that the residents and visitors of Polk County, the thing that they should know when it comes to these shelters is we have thousands of employees here at the Polk County, and some are assigned for emergency management, but our employees are staffing those special needs shelters. Talk a little bit about, the dedication of the county employee that leaves their family and makes sure that they're safe, to make sure that the residents are safe.
Oh, we couldn't do it without our staff in Polk County. We just absolutely could not do it. They are the rock. They are the rock of what we do. They are very important. They are very appreciated, whether that they know it or not. They are very appreciated. And it is very important for them to know that it doesn't go unnoticed, that they're having to leave their families and they're having to, make those sacrifices for our residents of Polk County.
Now, Brian, as a program manager, talk to me a little bit about what you do prior to the hurricane season and then preparing for hurricane season.
Well, probably the big thing that happened this year is we have new maps.
New maps. What's the color? It looks green.
Green. If you have orange, orange is the last year's. So green is the new color. And we have 48 shelters that we have the ability to operate. If it becomes a really bad day in Polk County, we normally will only operate a few of those. So getting the maps done, getting the shelters around, those are some pretty important things. But we also make sure that we have all our people staffed, all our training is done. Training's a huge issue that we do. We exercise, and I don't mean go out and do jumping jacks and that kind of stuff, but we do, recently we went through a statewide hurricane disaster exercise. It was a 3-day program. We involved people from emergency management, also from communications, also from all our nonprofit partners. So the Red Cross, United Way, Salvation Army, some of the faith-based organizations, the VOAD, the volunteer agencies. I mean, we had a lot of people involved there at the EOC and talking about what would they do, what would their role be. And so we went through that. Yesterday we did our first of 2 classes of what we call EOC, or EOC 101, where we bring everybody in that's going to be operating in the EOC during the time of an activation. And so we bring them all in and basically get everybody on the same page, how things are going to work, what's the processes, what's new, what's pretty much the same, and go through that process. So that's a major part. We have our own warehouse now.
Yes.
And we got it last year. We're just under a year of having our warehouse. We hired a new position, a gentleman named Nicholas Buselli. And Nick's position is he's logistics coordinator. And he basically manages the warehouse. And what the warehouse is it is all our supplies for the special needs warehouse or shelters. And so we have cots in there, we have medical equipment, we have a whole slew of wheelchairs and walkers and oxygen carts and just miscellaneous equipment that people are going to need at the shelters. And so Nick's been preparing that and getting all that ready for basically hurricane season. What really happens is we go like gangbusters for the first 6 months, and then we'll sit back and we'll sort of
Wait for it to happen.
Wait and see and hope it never comes.
Brian, one thing that I would really like you to touch on that Jana touched on, and we talked about our county employees manning the shelters, but there's a behind the scenes that happens at the EOC that is orchestrated, because between the county leadership and of course all of the positions being manned, it's a full house, and sometimes before the hurricane hits, you may be locked in there for up to 36 hours. So talk about the environment that our folks at the EOC are working. It's the exact same thing. They're leaving their families behind to make sure that the residents and visitors of Polk County are safe.
Oh yeah, so we have what we call EOC activation. And what happens when we do an activation is we bring in employees from the county as well as from different agencies, different utilities, the cities. We bring in many people, upwards of 150 to 200 people in that area. And what we do is we basically take their expertise, and it helps us to be able to deal with all the issues that are going to pop up. The thing about the EOC and the activation, all the decisions that are being made are made by the policy group. And that's all the movers and shakers and all the leaders in the county. And so it's the board, it's the county chairman, the county manager, it's many of the different division directors that are going to be there, the sheriff's in there. I mean, that's where the decisions are made. And then the directives are given out into the EOC, and basically that's how it happens and operates. Now, the thing about it is, because we have that many people in there, and as you said, they could be locked down in there for up to 36 hours. And what that means is they aren't leaving. And so we will have catering, and we'll have county employees that will actually help with the food and the food distribution. And it's sort of like they have their assignment's KP. That's pretty much, you know, like they're doing. But we will have county support in there. We will have any other kinds of supports that are needed for people. This year, we started a new program. We have a contract with Peace River Group where they will be coming in, and we will have a mental health person in the shelter 24 hours a day while we're in the shelters, as well as we will have it there at the EOC while we have activation. So if there's, you know, any issues and things like that, because it is a very stressful process. When it comes to sleeping, because that's what everybody asks, where do people sleep? And basically it's wherever you can find a hole. Wherever you can find a spot to put your sleeping bag or your cot or your air mattress down, that's where you're going to sleep. And so when the people are sleeping there, if they get a chance to sleep, and that's the other thing, anytime the EOC is staffed, business is taking place. So to say that everybody's going to get a nice, cozy 6-8 hours sleep, it doesn't happen.
Nope.
It doesn't happen. We change the lights inside from, you know, normal light to a red light, and that, you know, pretty much is saying, hey, it's gang time. If you don't have a whole lot going on and you can catch a couple winks, that's fine. But be prepared. 3 o'clock in the morning, we may be shaking you up.
Yeah.
And we may be changing the lights back because of whatever's taken place. During Hurricane Milton, that happened when we had some issues that developed at the McKeel shelter is where it happened. And we had a lot of people that, in the middle of the storm, were on their way to go to McKeel to take care of some problems that developed. And so it's not a vacation by any means when people go to the EOC and the activation.
One of the things I want to touch on is we have great community partners, and that map is living proof of the community partners. Now talk about some of the folks that got involved with this, and of course where they can get this map.
Okay, so the maps are available through, you can get them at the EOC, but we would rather people go to Publix. Publix is one of the biggest funders and supporters of this project. To develop the map, we actually worked with Central Florida Tourism and Publix.
Central Florida. Yep.
And they're currently this year we printed 90,000 maps. So there's a lot of maps out there. You will start seeing them in Publix stores very soon. I go around and any Publix I go to, I go looking for them and then go find the manager and, oh yeah, we got them out here. Well, they need to get them out, you know,
I got a brand new one over by me.
So, and so Publix has been a huge supporter in getting the maps done and getting them distributed.
Jana, I want to talk a little bit about, how many special needs shelters do we have, and what are their locations?
We have one shelter in Davenport, which is 500 Orchid Drive. It's the Ridge Community High School. We have the Polk County Health Department, which is in Bartow, and that one is 1255 Bryce Boulevard in Bartow. And our brand new shelter that we went to, we started having last year, was we moved out of McKeel and we went to Tinnerock High School, which is 4905 Saddle Creek Road in Lakeland, but it's considered, it's really close to Arbondale.
Yeah.
It's right off of Berkeley.
Yep. Oh, I spent many a time at the McKeel shelter.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, you know, the time to get registered isn't when the storm is upon us. Talk about the importance of pre-registering to get in, and talk about some of the things, especially the medical conditions that they should disclose, because there are certain shelters that can do certain things and certain shelters that can't.
Right. Well, our special needs shelters handle people who are oxygen dependent, electricity dependent, for like medications. I mean, a lot of people have eye drops that have to be refrigerated, or insulin that has to be refrigerated. And then anything that can't be handled in a general population, like if they're in wheelchairs and that's their only way to get around is their hover rounds and stuff like that, and those have to be plugged in, and if that's the only way they can get around, then they are going to need to be in a special needs shelter. I know that kind of sounds odd, but if that's their only way of transportation, or if Alzheimer's, we have a special what we call a quiet room for people who have Alzheimer's, just so it helps cut down on some confusion. And we have we've gotten bigger cots. They're not all the smaller cots this year, so we have gotten some bigger cots, and we hope to have more bigger cots if we have to activate. Now, to pre-register, we ask people to go to the Florida State Registry to do that. The website is snr.flhealthresponse.com. There you can create an account, and then you can register yourself. If you need transportation, our transportation partners is Citrus Connection. So within that application for the Special Needs Registry, you would mark that you need transportation, and then we would make sure that you got on the list for transportation and given to Citrus Connection during activation.
Tom Phillips isn't here, but I could hear him saying, and he's been in many times, and I want you to stress the importance of, there's certain times when our vehicles, they are a certain size, so whether it be our ambulance, our fire trucks, our city buses, whatever it is that Citrus Connection may pick these folks up, at a certain point in time, when the wind gets too high, we can't run those vehicles.
We cannot.
So talk about the importance of getting to the shelter early, because it's important to be there, because there may be a time that we can't come pick you up.
That is correct. So we tried to start all this, calling all the residents, letting them know we're going to open shelters within 3 days. But let's be honest, we don't always have 3 days. We have storms that just develop off our coast, and we have to rush and try to get everybody to those shelters. But if you cannot get to a shelter when the buses can run, or when other people can be on the roads, then you need to get in your car and come to us as quick as you can before the storm. We're not going to turn anyone away. So if you show up at our shelter and the storm's bearing down, and we're the closest shelter as a special needs shelter, come. We'd rather you be safe than be at home in a mobile home or in someplace unsafe.
Brian, we got just a few minutes left. I want you to talk about, kind of wrap everything into a nice bow and talk about the importance of preparation. And when they get to these shelters, making sure that they have all their medications, all the things that they have. And one thing that I do want you to touch on also is shelters that allow pets.
Okay. So we've got, in the county, like I said, we've got 48 shelters that are available. 3 of them are pet shelters, and if people get the map and they go through, and on the back side of the map we have detailed information that talks about what they should have for pet-friendly shelters. Okay? And so the pet-friendly shelters are operated through Lake Region High School, through Haines City High School, and then Auburndale High School. Those are all the 3 pet-friendly shelters that are out there. There's anything that pet is going to need is what the resident should bring. Okay? And it is important to bring shot records. and have information for that. But they need to bring food. They need to bring, if they have a carrier or if they have some kind of a container that they keep the animal in, that they bring that as well. And because that's what's really important here for the pet shelters. We need to really understand that we could not do the sheltering without the school district. Without Polk County schools involved, we could not do it. And I'm talking about the special needs shelters, and I'm also talking about the general population shelters. We have the potential to have thousands of people in shelters. And we utilize heavily school staff. School staff will even bring their families in to assist. And I mean, it is a major operation. And we couldn't do it without the schools being involved. We also couldn't do it without the sheriff department and their involvement. The sheriff department assists in providing deputies at each one of the shelters. They, within the special needs shelters, they provide clearance of people that are coming in. They also, if we have a bad day and someone calls up and they need to get to a shelter, more than likely it's going to be a sheriff department vehicle.
In the vehicle that goes in.
That's going to go get them.
Seen that more than 10 times myself.
Yep, they're probably going to go get them once Citrus Connection can't operate anymore.
Right.
And so it is extremely important that if people are going to go to a shelter, that they bring what they need. And I'm talking about general population shelters. We focus so much on special needs shelters, we somewhat forget the general population. Again, this document has the information listed in here. And so it's very important that people have these. And go to Publix and pick them up, because that's where you're going to get the information. We have them Spanish as well as in English.
I'm going to give you the last word. Talk to me. Tell me what you want to say.
We talked about the sheriff's office being at all the shelters and to check, helping check people in. They're not looking for immigration status. I want to make sure everybody is aware. We're not looking for immigration status. It is about safety. They're basically just looking to make sure that you're not on the sexual predator list, and that because we can't have that in the shelter. They do give them a place to shelter, but it's not in the shelters. So I want to make sure that people understand that it's not about immigration. They're not looking for that. They're just looking to make sure that everyone in that shelter is safe.
Guys, I want to thank you for coming in and joining me today, sharing all the information. And like I said at the beginning, with any luck, I hope I don't see you.
Me too.
Except for maybe here, or maybe as I come over and see the rest of the crew. But thanks for coming in, and it was great to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A special needs shelter is an emergency facility capable of providing special medical or nursing care which does not necessitate an acute care hospital setting. Those eligible and desiring special needs shelter should pre-register with Emergency Management. A special needs shelter, a temporary emergency facility capable of providing care to residents whose medical condition may require the use of electrical equipment, oxygen, dialysis, or individuals with physical, cognitive, or medical conditions who may require assistance from medical professionals. Now, if you need more information, go to www.polkfl.gov or give Polk County Emergency Management a call, 863-298-7000. If you enjoyed that episode of Polk Place, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and even check out the next one.